Good morning, team, and a very warm welcome to the TrioTech software training programs. My name is Abhishek, and I'm the trainer for this session. And thanks, everyone, for joining. And yesterday we had a good demo session on Oracle Fusion Financials Cloud, where we had a discussion on the ERP technology, the Oracle Corporation, the product ERP product introduced by Oracle Corporation, that is Oracle Fusion Cloud. So, in continuation to the same session, we will cover few more topics today that will be helpful for you to understand uh, the overall functionality, the overall working of Oracle Fusion Cloud. So, just a brief about myself for all the students who have joined today. So, I'm an Oracle certified implementation specialist for with 12 plus years of experience and 10 plus years of experience in Oracle consulting. I have worked in multiple end-to-end implementation and support projects in Oracle Fusion Financials in multiple regions like US, UK, Middle East. I'm also a corporate trainer. I've delivered 12 plus training programs, and I have worked with different organizations like Deloitte, Oracle, EY, PwC. All right. So some quick do's and don'ts. So this meeting is already been recorded from our side, so there is no need to record the same on your system. And the recordings of this meeting will be available to all the students who have enrolled. So they'll be provided the access of our website or where they can review the all the meeting recordings. And you're requested to keep yourself on mute so that we can cover the agenda in the timely manner. And any questions from your side, so very welcome. You can type your questions in the chat if it is during the session. And at the end of the session, we will be having a quick question and answer round where we can take those questions. And we will be also be happy to assist you offline if you have any questions related to the product, training, or any career related queries. All right, team. So let's see what we are going to cover in today's agenda. So we'll start first. So first we'll start with the getting familiar with the Oracle Fusion UI and navigation component. So basically now from now onwards, we will see more the application. We'll see how the application works, how it looks like, uh, what are the different fields, different areas that we need to take care while using the application. So that is where from where will start, and then later on we'll see how to use different functionalities. So we'll not start the module configuration and all today, but we will have an understanding that how to use the application, what are the different areas, the navigations, right? The user interface. So we'll have a look and we'll discuss on that part. Then we'll see how to enable offerings. So enable offering means how to initially configure the application so that on the basis of enable once the offerings are enabled, then we will be able to start the system configuration. Then some aspects of the security administration, like how the security feature works in Oracle Fusion. So we'll have a look into that. And then if time permits, we'll also cover this topic, which is understanding the Oracle enterprise structure. So basically, this Oracle enterprise structure is the beginning of your GL module. So if time permits, we'll cover this. Otherwise, we'll cover the rest three of the topics, which is pretty important in terms of understanding like how the overall application looks like and how it works and navigation works, right? And then we'll have a quick question and answer round. So any related question and answers will cover in that part of the session. So we'll move to the first topic, which is understanding the Oracle Fusion UI. So basically, what we are going to cover here today is going to cover two aspects. One is Oracle landing page icons and navigation in first place, and then we'll also see the financial offerings, like how we can check the offerings and what are the different options available to enable the offerings. So with that, I need to sign in the application. So I'll quickly share another screen where I can sign into the application. So let me start from the beginning. So just sign out, confirmation. I'll give the confirmation. Okay. So now this is my signing page. Now, a few things I would like to highlight here. So yeah, whenever I'm on the signing page, it will give me this particular instruction, signing Oracle application cloud, and then it will give me an option to enter my user credential. And then on the top, this is my application URL. So in Oracle terminology, we call it as application URL, or also we can call it as an instance. And to be very specific in how Oracle calls this particular link, they call it as pod. Pod means instance or the application that we are using. So you will be hearing this word a lot now, instance or pod or application, right? So the application can be accessed using the dedicated URL. So there is no need to install anything in your system. Just you need to have a proper URL, and then you should be having a valid user ID and password in order to sign in the application. So let me sign in the application using my credential. So once you sign in, this is how the UI of the application looks like. I'll start one by one from top header level to the bottom icons which are available. Now, if you start from the left hand side, so I'll skip this for now, which is the navigator, and I'll start from here. Now, this is the Oracle logo home. Now, what happens, team? Like whenever you're using an application, definitely the application should have some logo, right? So this is the default logo which is available for this particular instance, which is Vision instance. Now, what happens in real-time scenario or real case business scenarios? So let's say this application is being implemented by a business. So let's take an example here. So open, let me open an Excel sheet here. So let's say BYER. So yesterday we have seen one concept, like who is the seller and who is the buyer and who is the implementer or consultant company. Now let's say this license is being sold by Oracle Corporation, and let's say the buyer for this particular project or particular application as of now is Reliance Industries, and the consultant company. So the company who's going to implement this project. So I'll write down a name here. Let's say it's TrioTech. All right. So now what's happening here? Like we are in Oracle has sold license to buyer, which is Reliance Industry, because Reliance Industry wants to implement this application, ERP application, the financial cloud, and TrioTech is going to implement the project. Right. So now I'm hopeful that this concept of buyer, seller, and consultant company is clear, because we have also discussed it yesterday with the help of an example. Now let's come here. Now, whenever we start an application, this is how the default application looks like. Now, in our case, the business or team who is going to use this application is Reliance. So definitely, Reliance will be wanting their logo in the first place here in the application, right? So this is the place where the logos are maintained. So, or if you just hover your mouse, it will also show Oracle logo home. So this is something customizable. This can be changed as per the business requirements. But what I'm showing is here, you here that yes, this is the place where you can see the logo. Then second option is to search for people and action. So normally what happens like when Reliance would be implementing this application. So this application would be used by many employees, right? All your employee will be maintained and as a part of the human capital management solution, right? So in order to search for any particular person who has a user account created here in this system, this particular uh, you can just say search bar is available. So all the different persons whose user accounts are maintained are available here. So you can search for any person uh, whose account is there. Now what is the usage of this? So basically these are the business profiles of different persons who are registered in the system. So in the HCM or the HR system, all these person would be having their business profiles. So and let's say a company having 5,000, 10,000 employees, and you want to search about a particular employee, or you want to communicate with them and you want to check their details like what designation, all the details, what region they are working in. So here is the kind of search bar which is being given. So this is okay. And then moving to the next part, which is the icons on the right hand side. So the first icon is the home. Now, what happens here? These are the pretty static icons, which means that normally whatever page you are working on, you on the top of the page you'll be able to see these icons, right? These will be available. So let's say you're working on some page and you want to return to the home screen. So yes, this is the icon that you can use. You can just click on this and it will take you back on the home screen. So this is the home screen. So it will take you back there, right? So I'll also show you when later on when we are testing some functionality or we are working on some other page. So from there, how we can click and come back on the home page. Now moving forward, the next icon you can see here is the favorites and recent icon. So I'll explain you with the help of a simple example. So what is a favorite icon? So just like you are able to see this is my browser screen, and just like you're able to see bookmark option here. So star represent the bookmark. So let's say you are in terms of the browser, let's say you are surfing hundreds of websites, and some of the websites are pretty important to you, and you pretty often navigate to those websites. So normally what you do, you bookmark those websites, right? So in order to have an easy access, right? Similarly, we do have an option to add favorites, where we can add certain functionalities or certain pages as a part of the favorite. So once you click on that, system will give you an option to add to favorite. So just for an example, let's say I'm as a consultant, I work on multiple modules. I work on fixed assets, I work on accounts payable, I work on general ledger. So in order to have an easy access, I can add those pages under favorites, right? Now, how to add that? That we'll see later on how this can be added. But as of now, we can understand that this is a kind of bookmark in terms of Oracle application. Then we have another tab here, which is called recent items. So what it will show you all the recently used pages. So if I click here, then it will show you, okay, these are the pages which have been recently used, like users, roles, user category information, certificates, and all. Now, just for the information, so whatever page you access or navigate in Oracle Fusion, initially it will be added to recent items. So again, the purpose is same. So instead of navigating to the navigator and searching for the page, you can just have an easy access of that particular page. So that is the only reason. Hope that is okay. Then moving next is the watch list. So watch list is a concept. So so I'll tell you what happens. Like again, this is kind of favorites also only. So what happens like if you're working on certain processes, so related to expenses journals. Now, when I say expenses journals, so these are different module areas, right? and let's say you work a lot on a certain areas and you want to keep a close watch, like what's happening across those areas, what are the activities that are happening, what are the transactions that are happening. So what Oracle has done is they have given a set of certain let's say list of certain action items. So let's say there are 100 list of action items that are available to be added as a watch list. And then as per the user convenience, so you out of that, let's say you want to see expenses related area, expenses area, or journal area. So what you can do out of these 100 items, whatever the items available related to expense area, journal area, so you can create your own watch list, right? And again, what is the purpose of that? The purpose is that you can monitor the activities that are critical to you as and when required, without the needing to navigate through multiple pages and long navigations, right? So that is the purpose. Now, both of these favorites and watch lists are kind of like providing easy access and quick access so that you can do your work in a quickly manner. So that is the reason for these options. Now, moving on to the right hand side, which is you can see a bell icon here, right? So what it stands for, it stands for notification 0 100, right? So what happens like in this applications, there are different notifications. So let's say uh, we are using Gmail, right? So we do you get notification like whenever we receive any email. So it's a kind of bell notification available on YouTube. So similarly, in the application, whatever activity that happens in the system, which is concerning your user account. So let's say, for example, your user account password has been reset. Let me check. Uh, this is the watch list flag. Team. If someone asked a question that what is this flag for? So it's a watch list flag as we discussed just now. Okay, so let me move to the notification thing. So yeah, any activity that is happening across the instance or so as I mentioned, instance means this application or across this pod, which is concerning your user account, right? So let's say, for example, your password has been reset. So what will happen as and when you log into your application, immediately it will give you a notification that yes, your password has been reset. Now, is this the only option or only functionality? The answer is no. It has a very critical functionality. So, what happens like in the application, there are something called approvals, right? So we'll see later on when we talk about the modules, what are approvals and where these are applicable. So in case of approvals, you'll be receiving notification. So it's a kind of reminder thing, like how would I know I'm working on the application? How would I know that something is pending for my approval? So immediately what happens like here, a notification pop-up comes and the count increases here. So we'll see how it works once we actually start doing the transaction. But as of now, yes, this is the placeholder where all the critical activities related to your user account team is available so that you can concentrate on those things and complete the open pending actions, right? So as of now, no notification display, which means that nothing has been pending on your end, right? Now, moving to the right-hand side of it, this is again an important aspect, which is settings and action. So I'll just click here and we can show you some of the relevant options. Now, if you see the icon here is HD, which is basically the username HCMDC. So initially, if it's a user with this name, so it will show the initial letters of your username. And then also in the HR, when your HR record is created, like as an employee record, you can also have your profile picture here. So it will be visible here as a small, like your profile picture. Right. Now let's see some of the important aspects or some of the important uh, uh, options which are available here under settings and actions. So the first thing is sign out. So this is the place from where you can sign out of the application. Then there are various options available. And one such option that we have seen yesterday was about the application. So I'll also quickly show you that. So this is the place from where you can see about this application, the current version on which current version or release the application is working on, the Oracle application development framework, middleware extension, application database compatibility, right? So all these details are available. Now, yesterday we have seen like how to, you know, check the details from here. Like it's working on 23D, which means last quarter of year to 23, release 13, and so on. So that details we covered in yesterday's session. Now you might be thinking like what these details will be relevant on in a day-to-day business working. So normally what happens, team, like there might be a possibility that where you are facing some bugs or some issues in some functionality, right? So in that case, what happens, like there is a dedicated portal by Oracle Corporation for this application, which is known as Oracle Support, right? So or in Oracle Support, wherein whenever you are facing any issues or some functionalities which are not working as per the or they're not giving the expected behavior, or it's not working at all. So in that case, you can raise a ticket or you can raise a service request with Oracle. So at that point of time, in the first place, first thing that Oracle will ask you that on which version you are working. So at that particular time, these information will be helpful. So you should be knowing that how to access this information so that you can confirm with Oracle, and then for that particular issue, they can accordingly they will be able to provide the solution. Right. So this is the relevance of this information. Now, let me show you some other tasks. So we'll not be covering each and every task here, but whatever the important ones are or which are applicable for now, we'll cover those. Now, I'll start from top. So one is the set preferences. So let me open this. So when we open set preferences, again, there are a lot of options. So we'll cover the ones which are pretty important. So one is the password reset. So from here, you can reset your password. So just like normally we do the reset where if we know the existing password, so you can enter the current password, new password, and confirm the new password. Then let me show you the other thing, which is regional. Okay, so what all information are maintained here? If you can see here, so one is the territory. So by default, the territory is United States. But let's say if you're working in some other region and you want to make the regional specific setups here for your user account. So whatever setups I change here, it will be applicable only to my user account. It will not be reflecting to other user account, right? So let's say if I'm working for any other country and I want all these formats, date format, time format, as per my convenience or as per the standard followed by my company, then accordingly I can make changes here. So it supports territory, date format, time format, number format, default currency, and the time zone in which you are working. So basically, this information will be saved in your profile, and accordingly, all the details will be visible, right? So again, a very general preference, regional aspect is something by default it's the US and all, but if required, yeah, same can be changed here. Now we do have other option which is language. So by default it's American English. Current session display name default is American English. Uh, but this is useful only like in case like by default it will always be English. But in case the product is being used in other countries and they want a different language option, so in that case they can change the language option. So not recommended for us because our default language is English. So yeah. Now let me move to the another part. So set preference is something which is doable only in case you want to change the default preferences and set up to something else as per the business requirements. In that case, it will be applicable. So I'll give you an example normally. So normally when we work in the US region, so these setups will be applicable. If you work in the UK region, the different time zones, different region setups will be territory setups will be applicable, and especially you're working in Middle East, so in that case these setups will change accordingly. So from country to country this may vary. Now The next thing that we will be covering here is setup and maintenance. But before moving to that part, I would like to highlight one more important option here is application help. Now, team, this is important. This is a very important or good link provided by Oracle under settings and actions. So if you click here, what it will do in turn, it will take you to the Oracle repository, which is specifically designed for Oracle Fusion Cloud. And the name of the repository or the URL is docs.oracle.com. Now, team, what does it contain? It contains each and everything. Like each and everything means all the documents related to Oracle Fusion Financials, right? So here, if you see, all the Oracle products are readily mentioned here, and all these are hyperlinked. Like if you want to check for human capital management, for sales, for supply chain, for the ERP financials. So this is the place from where you can do your research, and this is the place from where you can read about the different functionalities, right? So I'll just give you an example, quick example. Will not deep dive here as of now. So if I click on financial, it will take me to different financial areas or financial module. So let me do a quick search here. So here you can see it's a search icon is available. So let's say, for example, I want to search for general ledger. So I'll just type general ledger. So it's just the correct keywords that you need to type, and then system will show the available results. Okay, so once I entered the keyword search, and now you can see here Help Center Cloud Financials 23D. Then here you can see using General Ledger in 23D. So it's a heading of the topic, and once I click here, what it will do, team, it will open the detailed document like and it will contain details on all the functionalities which are available in the particular module. You do have an option to download that in the PDF also, team. So this is very important, and going forward also you should be referring these documents. So let's say we are discussing any functionalities in class, I'll be giving a demo, and then after that also as a part of your practice you should be referring these documents, so it will give you a better understanding of the insights of the functionality. Now, also, as we are discussing testing here, so I would like to highlight like the question normally comes to me is like, okay, should we refer for each and every functionality this particular document? So the answer is no, because it's a very extensive document, contains each and everything. So always the recommended approach is to go and search whatever you need, right? It should be on a need basis. Like if you're stuck somewhere and not able to understand a functionality, or you're stuck, or you want to, check some additional aspects related to that functionality. So on that need basis, you should be referring the repository, you should be coming here, searching for the right information, like the right keywords or right functionalities, and then read about those functionality, because it's a very vast document. So if you try to read it one by one, maybe after some time you'll get confused and will not be able to make proper use of utilization of this thing, right? So it's a repository, it contains everything, so you can use it on need basis, whatever you require to understand or you want to read about, so you accordingly can search and you can read, right? So moving back to the application theme. So three important things that we have discussed today as a part of settings and action navigation. One is set preferences. As on recording basis, we can change the preferences. And then we have seen applications help and about the application. Now, the fourth one here is setup and maintenance. So this is very important, team. So setup and maintenance means this is the place from where you can configure the system, right? System configuration or different modules configuration can be done from here. Now, before moving that, oh, sorry. One thing or one question that comes here is like, okay, can anyone do the setup and maintenance? Can anyone having user account do the setup and maintenance? So the answer is no, right? there'll be only specific set of users. Like if we talk about the project, there'll be different users. One, the users who are actually using the functionality or actually using the system. Then there'll be other set of users who are doing the configuration, right? So only the set of users who are responsible for doing the configuration will be having the access of setup and maintenance task. Now the question again comes, okay, then how we can restrict the usage of this setup and maintenance, like who will be having the access, who will not be having. So how this restrictions will work. So in order to understand that, we need to understand another concept here. So let me move ahead here. So in order to understand that who is going to have the access, there is a concept called security, which is available in Oracle Fusion Financials, which or as an Oracle application. So not only financial, but the full application. There is a concept called security. So first, we need to have a general understanding of this security feature, right? So how this security feature works, team? First is we need to understand who is going to have the access, right? So which means that there is a team of like 100 users, 200 users. Out of those 100, 200 users, who actually is going to have the access, right? And once they have the access, what kind of access they should be having, right? Whether they should be having access of the full application or only the configuration of specific modules or only specific part of data, right? So who should be having the access, what kind of access they should be having, and which data. So which data means, I'll again explain with the help of an example. So let's say we are doing an implementation here. Let's say, let me open here. Okay. So in order to understand this concept more clearly, I'll be using this example. So let's say this time we are doing implementation for Tata Group, right? So Tata Group is a big group. Under Tata Group, we have different companies like Tata Technologies, Tata Motors, Tata Consultancy. Right. So let's say as a group, they are implementing Oracle software, right? So this can be done. So within that group, they'll be implementing for all the, let's say these three companies, Tata Technologies, Motors, and Consultancy. Now within these companies also, like Tata Motors have different functionalities. They deal in consumer vehicle, they deal in commercial vehicle, whereas Tata Consultancy is responsible for, it's an IT company, so responsible for implementing, let's say Oracle, SAP, Tally, so different IT related work they do, right? So now you see different companies, different functionalities they are doing. Now, when we talk about the role here, so as I mentioned, who is going to have the access, right? So definitely, like if you're implementing, so someone from these companies would be having the access. Let's say these companies are only implementing the project. Then what kind of access? So what kind of access? Whether should be having access for this company, this company, this company, right? And which data, right? So let's say if I'm belonging to Tata Motors, so which data, whether I should be able to access consumer vehicle related data or commercial vehicle related data, or in case of Tata Consultancy, whether I should be able to see Oracle related data, SAP related data, or Talent related. So first, in order to enable the security, the first thing that we normally do in a project is like once we have the access and the users accounts are created. So I'll also show you how user account is created. So before that, first we need to understand, okay, I have the instance now, who all are going to have the access, right? So who all are going to have the access and what kind of access they would be having, which data they would be accessing, correct? So this is something where the security concepts come into picture. Now, how the security concept works, team? And now we need to understand in terms of fusion how it works. So in terms of fusion, there is something called role-based security model. Okay. So there is something called role-based security model. So what are these? Now, in order to use or in order to access different functionality, there are roles available in the system, right? And any user who want to access those functionality, who want to use those functionality should have that roles assigned to the user account. So for example, here, I'll move back. So if you see here, Let's say there are two users, right? One is Abhishek, second one is Kumar, right? Abhishek normally works in general ledger module, whereas Kumar works in accounts payable module. So in order to access the functionality, Abhishek should be having GL roles assigned to his user accounts, and Kumar should be having AP role assigned to the user accounts, right? Now again, just to clarify, this concept of some of you might be confused, like what is general ledger, what is accounts payable. So these are the different working areas which are available in the Oracle Fusion Financial Suite, right? General ledger, where all the journals related or the account balances related activities are done. Accounts payable, where all supplier related activities. Similarly, we have fixed asset, cash management. So different modules. So these are the core, some of the core modules in the Fusion Financials. Now, in order to use this functionality, let's say definitely a user would be there who will be using this particular area, right? So in order to access, that particular user should be assigned the roles, right? So in our example, we have taken example of two users, and along with the modules, that these are the modules in which the users will be working, and along with the roles. So as a part of security, need to assign them the relevant roles. Now, when I say GL roles, is it only one role or it's multiple roles? When I say AP role, it's only one role or multiple roles. So the answer is yes, it's multiple roles. It's not only one single role. Right. Now, within GL also, there are, I mean to say, multiple functionalities, numerous functionalities are there. Within accounts payable, there are numerous functionalities here. So practically, when we talk about the actual business scenario, so there'll not be case where one user will be handling all the functionality. So for example, let's say if we are talking about the accounts payable. So within accounts payable, we have multiple functionalities so I'm just giving a summary here. So one is, let's say, invoice creation process. So one is supplier invoice creation process. One is supplier payment creation process, right? So both falls under accounts payable. So there might be possibility that there is a user A and there is a user B. So user A only performs the invoice related functions. User B performs the payment related functions. So accordingly, the roles which are available on the accounts payable side should be assigned to them. So if I write just a name here, so it's not the actually, but yeah, just for the purpose of understanding, I'm writing it. So I can write it here, invoice roles, right? So if in a user is dealing in invoice, so it should be assigned with the invoice roles. User B dealing in payments, so it should be assigned with payment roles, right? Just to ensure the security that this particular user will be doing only this task and this particular user will be doing this task. So this is how the security concept in Oracle Fusion works, team. So let me get back to the screen, the PPT, where as it is mentioned here, that Fusion security is a role-based security model, which means that any functionality that you want to use, the appropriate role should be assigned to the particular user. Now, here also we have taken one example here. So let's say there is a user, name of the user is Christopher. So Christopher is a general accountant as well as general accounting manager. So these are different roles which are available in terms of GL module, right? So general accountant can do a specific list of tasks, whereas general accounting manager can also do a specific list of tasks. So if the user is an employee, so employee is also something which is covered by the role. So there is a role which can be assigned, then stating that the user is an employee. So where this particular rule is used just for the information purpose. So let's say if we are also implementing the HCM, which is Human Capital Management, or HRM, Human Capital Management System, and payroll calculations are happening, the salary calculations and all. So in that case, the employer role will be applicable. But from the finance side, let's say a user is dealing in general as a general accountant, he's a general accounting manager. So accordingly, roles will be assigned, and then the particular user will be able to use those functionalities. Okay. So team, I think if I can summarize, so I think this is something which is clear, where we have seen how to access the application using a user account. Now the next step or the additional step that we are seeing here is how to how a user can use a particular functionality. So that is something which is done by assigning the roles, right? And okay, so this is now this is the list of some of the seeded roles. Some of the seeded roles. So as I mentioned that within GL also there are multiple roles. Within AP also there are multiple roles. Within AR there are multiple roles. So it's a list of seeded roles. So what Oracle has done, Oracle has created a list of roles which are module specific, and then it has provided the list of all the roles. So as per the need or requirement basis, what happens like these roles are assigned to the users, right? So this is again for the information purpose. So once you have your hands handy on the application, then you'll understand like how the roles assignment, all those things are done. But as of now, just for in order to explain the concept, we are using these topics here. All right. Now let me move back to the system. Now the next question that would be coming in your mind is like, okay, Komal, we have seen the basic navigation. Okay, so we have seen the basic navigation here, and the next thing is like, how are we going to create the user accounts, or who is going to create my user account, right? So the answer is user accounts can be created by admin users, right? So let me show you with the help of an example here. Now, normally what happens like whenever there is a new application or a new pod, so let me copy this. So this is my pod, okay? This is my application. So what happens like whenever a new license is procured from Oracle, so Oracle gives you this URL, all right? Along with that, it will give you an admin user credential. Right. So what happens here? That URL is there, admin user credential is there. Let's say ID is admin, password is admin. Now, this is the first account that is created in the instance or in the particular pod. So Oracle gives the admin user details to a particular admin person. So let's say Reliance is the one who is going to implement. So there'll be some admin user who will be identified from the Reliance, and that particular admin user will be supplied with these details like URL, your ID, and password. Now, in turn, what admin user can do, it can create multiple users. Right. So now let's say admin user have the details available and admin user want me to configure the application. So it will say Abhishek. Okay, I'll create one user in the name of Abhishek. And then I'll create another application in the name of Kumar. So this is my user one. This is user two. And similarly, if there are multiple users who want to use the application whose user account required to be created, same can be done by the admin user. Now, whether these users, user one and user two, can also create further user accounts, so the answer is yes, depending upon the roles assigned. So there are roles which are related to this functionality, which is like creation of user accounts. So yeah, admin user can give assign them the roles, and in the turn they can also create their user account, right? So now let's see how the user accounts are created in the system, right? So in order to create a user account, I need to navigate here. So which is the navigator on the extreme left hand side. Now, team, one thing if you have noticed, like whenever I hover my mouse on any icon, it will give a pop-up that what this particular field naming convention is. So these naming conventions came from Oracle. And if you want to see like what naming conventions are there, just have to hover your mouse. So let's say this is navigator. This is Oracle logo. This is home icon. This is favorites icon, favorites and recent item, watch list, and notification, so on. So across the instance, like if you are using the application, you'll see like any new navigation or any new icon is there. And if you hover your mouse, so Oracle has given that option where you can see what is the name in the mention, or in terms of Oracle, what is the name which has been assigned to this particular icon. Okay, so I'll go to the navigator here. So what I'm doing team for now, I'm creating a user account. Okay, forget all these options because these options are based on the roles assigned to me. So let's say I've assigned all the roles to my user account, then I'll be able to see all these details here. So no need to worry about this. We can just ignore it for now. Now, in order to create a user account, there is a task called security console. And how I get the access, again, as I mentioned, it's based on the role. So I'll create on security console here. Now, if you see, there are few tabs, important tabs here. Know the other ones, just concentrate on these two. So one is the roles. So this is the place where I can search for any role. I can create my own role. So as I mentioned in my PPT, like there are list of seeded roles. But in some of the organizations, there might be a possibility like where they don't want to use seeded roles because seeded roles can give access to certain multiple functionalities at a time. But let's say if they want to restrict multiple functionality and then want to go only individual functionality at a time, so even role custom roles can be created. So there's the option for that. Otherwise, you do have a list of roles here. So any role that you want to search here, it can be searched by entering the three or more characters. So let's say I'll just take an example here. So let's say there is a role called general accountant. Okay. So if I want to search here, so here it is, general accountant. Click on the same. Now, as I search for the particular role, I select the role. So this is the name of the role. This is the code of the role, and this is the description. So what general accountant do? Now again, just for the information we are reading here. So it records and reports financial transaction and manage revenue, expenses, and assets. So basically, what happens like general accountant is someone who deals in GL module or general ledger module, right? So all the transactions are related to general ledger module are performed by general accountant. So what Oracle has done, Oracle has created a role and given all the functionalities related to general ledger, right? So this is where I have mentioned, let's say you don't want these many functionalities as a part of your user account, then even custom role can be created, right? So, okay, for now, I think just you can concentrate here, general accountant, and these are the roles, right? So I'm just showing how to, you can check for the roles by this navigation, okay? Now let's come back to the point, which is how to create a user account, right? So here there's an option called user account. And again, everyone will not be able to see. Only the user who have this privilege or who have this role assigned to them for creation of user account will be able to create. Now, here I can do two things. I can search for the existing users. I can create a new user, right? So let me search for the existing users, which is my own user. So let's say hcm.dec. So if I search for my user, it will give me these details. One is the display name, the username, status active, logged, whether it's a logged user or no. So two things. If the status is inactive, you'll not be able to use the user account. If the status logged status is yes, you again will not be able to use the user account. So by default, it should always be active and the log status should be no. So we'll discuss later on in what cases you should be inactive and what cases it should be logged, right? So that we can discuss later on. Now let me open this particular user. So what it's showing, it's showing me the username, the first name, the last name, right? And all the roles that have been has been assigned to this particular user. And because of the roles only, this particular user is able to see so many icons, so many functionality, right? So these are the roles. And then you also have an option to reset the password. So I have shown you this is the second option, right? First option I've shown you from settings and actions how you can reset your old password to new password, and there is an option here to reset the password. Now, in the practical life, what happens, or in the real business scenario? So this option of you maintaining the user account, it lies with the admin team or IT team. right? And in any case, you forget your password and you're not able to retrieve your password. So you normally raise a request with the IT team to reset your password. So IT team do have the access of your user account. They come here, they reset your password, and here they submit the details, right? They'll share the new password. So this is the reason why this option is available here. Now let's see how to create a new user team. It's very simple. Just it's a kind of form that will open and you have to enter the relevant information. So if you see here, so add user account, right? So we'll enter the information here. So we'll start with the first name and last name. So it's Abhishek Kumar, and I'll enter the password. Right? And then that's it. This is done. So once I enter these basic details, so even like if I want to add my detail like my email ID, that can be added. All right. So this is done. So I've entered my email ID, I've entered my first name, I entered my last name, I entered my username, I entered my password. So what is the next step, team? So once I enter these details, what will happen, team? Sorry. It will create my user account. And then using the credentials that I've entered, I will be able to access I'll be able to access my Oracle account. Now, whether I'll be able to perform any functionalities on our team, so the answer is no. Unless and until I have the roles assigned, I'll not be able to perform any functionalities. I'll not be able to use any pro business processes or any module, right? So in order to do so, I need to assign some roles. Now, let me do some basic configuration or let me add some basic roles here, team. So let's say I want to add one role, which is IT security manager. So normally what does this role do? It will help me to create new users, right? So the access of the security console where I was able to add the user account is done through this role, which is IT security manager, right? So using that role, I'll be able to create other user, right? Now let me also enter another role, which is application. So there is a role called application implementation consultant. Now, what this role is, team? So application implementation consultant is a role using which I will be having the access to configure the application, right? So in order to configure my general ledger, my accounts payable, accounts receivable, I need to have the access of this role. Only after that I'll be able to configure that the application. Now here, one thing. So how to configure application? So as I mentioned before also, setup and maintenance. Using setup and maintenance, I'll be able to configure the application. And if I have this role, then I'll be able to access the setup and maintenance page. So the setup and maintenance means the one which we have discussed here, mm, the one which we will see next, like how to access and how to configure the application. Okay. So as of now, yes, I'm done with my information. My user account is active, not logged. I've entered the details like Abhishek Kumar, the email ID, username, password, everything, and I have assigned two roles, which is IT security manager and the application implementation consultant, and then save and close. And that's it. Your user account is created. Right. So hope team that this is clear. So how we are going to create a user account now. in actual business scenarios, this is the core, this is the lines that you are going to follow. These are the steps, because first of all, you'll be having an application. So either IT team would be creating the user account for yourself, or it will be you'll be having the access, and they'll be asking you to create user account for multiple employees or multiple users. So this is how you are going to create the user accounts, right? And also assign the roles as and when required. Now, let me go to the home screen. So as I was mentioned, I have mentioned before also, like if you are on any page and you want to navigate back to the home screen, so there's the option. So you can just click on home, and it will take you back on the home screen. Uh, uh, just one request. So if you have any questions, you can just type your question in the chat. So later on, we can take it after the session. Yeah, or at the end of the session. All right. Then moving next here is team, the setting and actions. So we were talking about the setup and maintenance. So what we have done, a quick summary of that. We have seen the basic navigation of the application. We have gone to the navigator. We have created a user account. We have understood, or we have discussed the concept of roles or security. And based on that, we have created a user account and assigned some roles. Now let's move to the next part, which is setup and maintenance. So, so this is the place from where your system configuration activity begins, right? So I'll just click on setup and maintenance here. Once I click on setup and maintenance team, then this is how the page looks like to you, and where you'll be able to see the functional area, search, task, pane, and then on the right hand side, you will be able to see the task list. Now, the first activity you normally do in a project is to go to offerings. Now, what are offerings? That I'll explain you in a bit. Now, as I mentioned to you, like this is an ERP application, so it contains financial things. It contains different other areas like enterprise contract, order management, human capital management, procurement, product management. So all the areas are available under offerings, right? Now, out of these areas, which one you want to configure or which one you want to use, right? Now, that is something where you need to enable. Right. Now, your question should be, okay, so Abhishek, it's like we have acquired license for finance only, then why we are uh, able to see all these options. So what happens actually, the concept or the way it works is whenever you buy an application, buy means you subscribe an application from Oracle. So by default, Oracle gives you access of all the functionalities available, right? And then whatever functionality that you use, then Oracle will accordingly charge for those functionality, right? So by default, let's say for example here, Oracle will give you access of the financial, it will give you access of the HCM, it will give you access of the procurement, and also auto management and so on. So various functionalities available here. And then out of those, if you want to use only financial, you'll enable financials only, and accordingly they'll be charging for the application, right? So if you use any other application, then accordingly there's a charge. So in cloud, the concept that's being used is pay as you go or pay as you use, right? So whatever you functionalities you are using, accordingly they'll be charging it accordingly, right? So here, that's why in the offerings you'll be able to see all the functionalities which are listed here. Now, out of these functionalities, which one you want to enable? So let's say we're having a training for Oracle Fusion Financials, and we want to enable only the financial applications. So there's the place from where you can enable. So there's the first thing that you need to make sure anytime you get a new instance is first you need to check with the business team, you need to check with your project management team that okay, now we are going to configure the application, but first tell me what all application you want us to enable, right? So here, I'll just click on financials, and here we have something called opt-in features. So I'll just show you how it works because the status is already enabled. So what in turn it will do, it will open the list of all the financial offerings. So let me just collapse the view here. Now, this is my financial application. Do I want to enable the application whole, or do I want to make further selections? So if I expand this, what it will do, team, it will give me the list of all the functionalities or all the working areas, all the modules which are available in the finance, right? So it will just open in a second. Okay, here. So now you can see general ledger enabled. Supplier invoice processing from the AP side enabled. Supplier payables, payments, cash management module, expenses module, fixed asset module. So all the modules from the finance side. Now, yesterday, if you remember, I have shown you one of the slide where I have shown you the core finance modules as well as other financial modules. So in the financials offerings here, team, all the modules related to financials are listed, right? So you just have to make sure that you enable only the modules which you are going to use. So let's say there is one of the module like joint venture management. So unless and until you have the business in the nature of joint venture, then you should be able to enable it. If you're not using that functionality, so at least should not be enabling it, right? So like US federal financials, right? So if it's a US project, then it should be enabled. If it's not a US project, then it should not be enabled, right? So this is how it's done, like enabling and disabling the offerings. So like these are the checkbox. So you can select the particular rows and enable or disable the checkbox. Only after once it is enabled, then you'll be able to configure the application key. Right. So let me click on done. And it works similar way for the other areas like financials, same way for procurement, human capital management, and all. So, team, this is the first thing that you'll be doing in order to start the configuration is to enable the offering. So let me also quickly summarize that what are the steps that we have taken today. So first, whenever the application you get an application access, so first you need to make sure the basic navigation, right? So this is in case where you already have the user account created, but let's say you don't have a user account created. So first thing you would be either asking someone or the IT team to create a user account for yourself. And if uh, they have not done it, or there might be possibility that they will give you the admin credential and they'll ask yourself to create the user account for yourself. So that is something which can be done as I've shown you. So first you create a user account for yourself, assign roles, and third one is the check for the basic navigations that you're able to access the setup and maintenance and all. And fourth one is enable offerings. Right. So if you reach by this part, then now you are in a position to start the system configuration. All right. So team, yeah, here, so list of list of key seeded roles. So that is okay. That I've shown you what are the key seeded roles that are available, and even we can create our own roles. Now, there's another thing which is types of roles. Now, this abstract job roles. So these are the different types of roles. So we will have a look later on. Well, when we actually will create our own roles, then we'll have a look how these different role types works. But as of now, the only thing that you can remember is yes, in order to access any functionality, we need to assign the roles, right? So I think these are the topics that team we are going to cover today. And then now we can move to the Q and A round. So let me check if there are any questions here in chat. So one question was like, can we create custom rules? So yeah, as I mentioned, yes, custom rules can be created. So normally what happens, like we always go with the seeded rules because seeded rules do have all the associated functionalities. But let's say if there are very specific requirement that uh, uh, if there is any specific requirement that we need only access to specific functionalities, then in that case, yes, custom rules can be created. Then there was one of the question, what is associated person type field in the account creation process? So associated person is more related on the HR side. So whenever, we create, so as of now, we've seen how to create a user account. But normally there is another way where all the accounts are created as a part of in your employee data migration process. So all the employee data gets migrated in the human capital management, and accordingly automatically user accounts are created. So at that point of time, the associated person type field comes into picture. So yeah, it's more on the HR side, so yeah, you can ignore it for login user account. So what is login user account? If you use the option to lock the particular user account, then that particular user will not be able to use the credentials to access the account unless and until someone unlocks the account. So normally it happens, if I'll give you a practical case. So let's say I'm implementing a application for Reliance Industries. So I'm an implementer. I belong to TrioTech, and I'm implementing. Then after the implementation is completed, then my user accounts is no more useful, right? So just to avoid the misuse of my user account, normally the user account is locked by the admin team so that I cannot use it again, right? All right. So one question about us, Abhishek, how do we access these recordings on a daily basis? Okay, so this is related to your enrollment. So once you confirm your enrollment, our admin team will reach to guys. They'll share the dedicated link for our website or portal with the user credentials, and during which you'll be able to access the recordings. So I think one of the consultant or one of the students got disconnected due to some network issue, but I think for others it's okay. So if you guys can confirm that you're able to hear me from last 20 minutes, or if there's any issue from my side. So I think yeah, it's mentioned the chat also. Yeah, connections are open. So one of the query is I already shared all the details, so it's going to take more time, like who and when will confirm on the enrollment. Okay, because our admin team will reach you out and will confirm your enrollment and will share the credentials. All right, the team. So yeah, that's it from my side today. Now, one thing that I would like to highlight here. So those who still so today is the last free demo day. If you still want to continue with the training, then from tomorrow we'll start the official configuration part thing. So my request is, if you're not enrolled yet, then please complete your enrollment process so that our admin team can share the link of the meeting which we will have from tomorrow. So yeah, please make sure that the enrollment is done.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Abhishek.
All right, team. If there are no further questions, then maybe you can disconnect. Thank you everyone for attending the meeting. Thanks for your precious time. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek.